it through the government, which also is the leverage up to Empress Verdiasi's claim. So now you got two tribal mothers with tenure and fighting for their tribe. Tried, tested, and proven, and the enemy that admitted that these sisters was right. Now all tribal leaders that's understanding of what's going on can use that. Now, what are we supposed to do? All we supposed to do as the Braves, the membership of the clan, is to share it, share it, share it, share it, and share it, and get other people to understand what it means to the tribes. F what it means to the community at large. We don't care about their feelings. They didn't care about ours. We don't care if they get stepped on. We have to get back to what's ours. And what's ours is, as Elijah Muhammad say, be your own, accept your own, and be yourself. Right? And we don't have to negotiate, debate, and try to convince non-tribal members or supporters of our position. They gonna see in their eyes when it all play out. As Tupac say, all eyes on me, I say y'all eyes gonna see. When we understand what's taking place, right? Because most of us don't get it. We think we get it, and we still trying to prove the fraud. That stuff is right now. We done proving everything. We didn't prove it.
Facts.
We didn't show you where the lying liars signed the names to the lies that they told. We showed you why they confessed that they was telling the lie, trying to cover up a piece of the truth. This is why she talking about the situation with Andrew Jackson in the video, right? Andrew Jackson was instrumental in the Dawes role and the Trail of Tears directly. His name, because he had handlers, but his name carried that dirt, right? So the tribes that fought the system in the system kept the paper trail for the ones that was fighting the system outside the system that was classified by the system as the criminal element. You become the criminal element when you're not part of the invading force that's invading your farm. The invader got to declare you as the hostile in order to trick your tribesmen into believing that they doing what the rest of the tribes want them to do when they ain't got nothing to do with us. So they came in with their old Mutt and Jeff routine, good cop, bad cop. They send the good guys in that look like us, which was really the bad guys. And then they sent the bad guys in that didn't look like us, which was really just the pawns. We begin to believe, because the pawns kept the history in the forefront, that the pawns was the power players. We ain't ever seen the pawn be the power player on the chessboard.
When it becomes queen or hits the other side of the board,
I mean, he got to cross the finish line, then he can come back for everybody else. But when he come across that finish line, he got the option to become whatever player on the board is needed in order to help the rest of them get across the finish line.
I say, chess.
Okay, now, King Arthur's sword. You remember that story? Okay. If you pull up the image of King Arthur's sword sticking out of the rock, it's at an angle. If you look at the cross in the stone called Mount Calvary, right? A lot of the churches have the same slant to the cross. The cross is a sword of war in the ground because the war was waged against the great mother of the earth. That great dragon we call Tiamat. Tiamat is actually the Kundalini energy that encompasses the world as the great serpent, the serpent energy, that serpentine fire, right? Earth, wind, and fire. What's missing?
Water.
Earth, wind, and fire. What's missing?
Water.
There's two elements missing.
Water and well, I know water off top. What's the next one?
Ether.
Ether.
Okay. The ether is the chemical composition of accumulated love energy, referred to as ore energy. In the ore energy, Dr. Delbert Blair reference, go check him out talking about the ore energy, is the original energy extracted from what's known as the primordial noon or the sacred waters of the womb of creation, right? The human being reenact the holy drama in order to change power from the unworthy to the worthy, right? So the great Tiamat, that great beast, the Kundalini of the earth, is going to tag, right? It's a game of tag now with all of the divine matriarchs, all the way till you get to the one who holds the blood right to sit on the sacerdotal seat of the earth as the acting and reigning Isis. A lot of sisters be frustrated because they think that they ISIS due to the Sybil effect. But they works and they deeds don't open the path according to the quantum of blood and mitochondrial positioning of the clans to seek them. That don't mean they're not great women. Everybody want to be the one until the one show themselves, and now everybody envious because they thought they was gonna be the one,
I see.
right? So if you when you understand the old culture and the old ways, a lot of this modern stuff just fall off like a snake shedding the skin.
Yo, I'm about to hit you. Like I said, you really just jumped on my paper, and I was like about to ask you half of this stuff. Just to let you know, we will be taking questions. I don't want to cut him while he's like dropping it on us because sometimes you don't want to miss it. So we will take your questions in a minute because there's some people in the comments that I do want to address. But everything you just said was spot on. Even when it gets to the serpent aspect of it, when somebody said something about the idol thing, the funny thing about it is the Nagu, the Naga. Nagu is one of these Olmec heads. Also, when it starts breaking down verses of the Jaguar elite status, that's the status of it, right? And no, it's not idol worship per se. It's literally telling you what these people were doing. So you
Hey,
can't be like prove it, and then when it proves it, they be like, it was now it's idols. No, this was how we communicated, and this is how we always communicated.
listen.
So, and check this out. You spoke on the serpent. John 3:4, Luke 3. This is several times in the Bible when God told Moses that he sent the dragon down here to punish the non-believer, and then told Moses to create a bronze serpent, and he said to cure you, you can touch this bronze serpent. So this is in your game is to divide us and keep us from even learning. They think that oh you worshiping the idol because you learned about something. How can I tell you the truth? We learned we learn the shit they taught us in the Quran. We learned the shit they taught
Listen.
us in the Bible. So why not learn what they talking about? You see what I'm saying?
No.
And once you learn that the language that they're using is actually from a Twa. They got Twa civilization down there. The Twa people are not just also a Congo Bantu languages, and this is under the sound information of Cloud Winters. He's the author. Cloud Winters he's a good brother. I want to see if I can get y'all up there together because you and Cloud would kill that. And I also want to do a little honorable mention real quick before we get back started. Please check out Vicky Dillard and Dr. Pruitt because they're giving us a lot of information on a lot of different things too.
No,
So, but
Vicky,
yeah,
both of them, my girl. I
I know,
love both of them.
I already know it. I just had to throw it out there because it's not enough of us putting information out there. It's not. We got a lot of people right now that want the spot so bad they'll resort to the same tactics, the same weird tactics that let's start beef in the community. Let's start drama in the community. And we ain't got to do that. Let your talent speak. Let your work speak for yourself. Because if we saying that this is what we are, they're telling you one who is the supporter of the mystic order, obedient to the law. The law said we got to conduct ourselves a little bit better than we're doing instead of talking like you got these little weird dudes out here talking bad about Rashid Jamal. He falling. Hadith say you don't never kick a man while he's down. You don't never talk against your brother while he messed up. You got people talking down against
Hey,
Bobby Hemmett, and it's
listen, hold on,
weird.
hold on, hold on. So pump the brakes. When you are in the position to kick somebody, you got to remember when you gonna kick somebody while they down, it's a good chance you're gonna slip, fall, and bust your own ass. Right? You gotta always remember, Bookman, you've always been overprotective of Tucson. Anybody say something about him gonna automatically stir your ires because you have to be triggered emotionally for the resurgence of the Haitian revolutionary return, which is going to become the Haitian or Haiti evolutionary return. Y'all turning the energy around. He need opposition right now. He don't want it, but he need it. Why do he need it? He's breaking from under the control of the government war with the French on the Louisiana territory. He needs somebody to beat him in public to draw the attention back to him.
I say
And everything that look like it ain't for you don't mean you can't benefit from it.
facts.
I'm watching what's playing out, so I'm not saying that because
Listen,
I understand the game, right? And if you are falsely accusing somebody from a place of ignorance, the only thing that you need to have in order for you to serve is the energy of love. If you're doing it from a place of love, whether it's for somebody you love or a principle you stand on or a value you hold dear, long as you're doing it out of love, you can be misguided. That's part of life, right? You are not punished for what you do out of love. You only punished for what you do out of hate, envy, and deceit. Anything you do out of love, nature's going to find a way to use it for the greatest good of the collective.
I say
And a lot of the warriors don't know where to fight at because our enemy is hidden in plain sight. And then when we start realizing that the enemy look like us, but they ain't us, make us become suspicious of us.
man, man, look,
But if you know how to read tribal war dance, where sometimes you have to get flogged to bring attention to your plight. And just because you getting flogged, it don't mean you was wrong. And it don't mean you was right.
I say
But it mean that you was necessary for the moment to get this flogging so these people can understand that your situation, when they look into it, it ain't what other people think.
and I
Then they start seeing the whole setup when they go back and look at what's already in the public domain.
I say for real, if we gonna be about order and obedient, like all this other stuff, we can't be hypocrites. If we saying that you're standing on those Morse principles or any of those principles that we say, you can't be a hypocrite at all. And the hypocrite part is learn, bless, gospel of Barnabas. Blessed is he who learn how to walk by watching somebody else fall. Blessed is he who learn how to walk by watching somebody else fall, not kicking right down or backbite, because those are things that in Sharia or in the Sharia you could be punished by, right? So when you speak on master teachers, when you speak on certain people, and to make like right now, people are getting paid for views, so they'll say anything. But it's so much intelligent shit to talk about. It's so much shit you could be fighting against or fighting for than to put further kick down your brother. You know what I'm saying? So anytime you see that this is the year of the serpent, like Jesus said in the
Okay.
wise and serpent.
But it's the year of the serpent, right? Serpent is a symbol for wisdom.
Yeah,
In the age of Aquarius, would all things be made known, right? We leave in the age of illusion, which was the age of believe it because somebody said it, don't check it out.
I see.
Don't be, look, if you don't got no opposition, you're going the wrong way. And sometimes your brother got to trip you to keep you from going the wrong way because you don't want to listen.
Mm.
But the obstacle is the way. If you're going the right way, you're going to experience some pushback. If you it, the enemy not gonna never stop you when he know you going the wrong
I
way.
see.
So if you're going the right way, he gonna put every obstacle in your path, and sometimes he gonna use the ones closest to you to do it. It's your noble nature that's gonna override the negative thrown at you, and that's how you gonna come out on that golden horse of truth.
I see.
Let a motherfucker throw stones at your house. Just hope he don't live in the glass one,
I see.
right? Because everybody that throws stones gonna get stones thrown back. And if you don't believe me, ask Angel Bay.
I see.
And, and the people that thought they broke in and had their feet up on your couch, figured they was just gonna move in. This is eviction time. So remember, you gotta have a series of events that paves your path back home in order for you to complete your mission. Your mission not complete till you get back home. Let that sink in,
I see.
right? Once you get back home, now you can deal with everything from a place of comfort and perspective now. You don't know that you have opposition in your circle until you in a condition or position where the opposition shows its head, right? We watch leaders rise, but we don't never see the people closest to them as they saboteurs. We see them as their support system, and their support system got what's called a weak beam. It's an infiltrator in there,
I see.
right? So go back to why Farrakhan did not stop Wallace Muhammad from decentralizing the Nation of Islam before he come back several years later and start to rebuild it. Why he ain't stop him? Why he ain't just pick up and be like, yeah, I understand what you're saying, but we not finna decentralize nothing. Because they would have listened to him back then, but there was a problem. He had to get the infiltrators out.
I see.
And
And it's all.
then rebuild the whole nation back to its original glory, minus the infiltrators. And if they in there, don't worry about it because we know who they is. We gonna put them in a position where they hang themselves. You know, everybody is not playing the game on the same level. And very, very few people. I can only name about 5 people playing on Elijah Muhammad level in the history of America.
You know, it's funny, G. Sister Jada called me today, and she wanted to go on with brother Roosevelt, and we were going to talk about a lot of that stuff. They want to hit you up too, but they most definitely want to talk about it on the hidden keys and shit that was going on, and looking at shit.
That topic, Rod. I heard you mention crip walking. I guess crip walking, there's some spirituality behind crip walking, huh?
Yeah, that's a part of a accumulation of the rain dance. That's called the lightning.
The lightning?
The lightning. So in ancient times, it used to be called crooked walking. The crooked
Mm-hmm.
man walking across the land. That's lightning.
Mm-hmm.
That's Big Tookie,
Mm-hmm.
right? All of the Crips that Crip walk in his honor gives power to that force of lightning that we call the crooked man, right? So when they first thawed Tukey out, because they had him in cryostasis, and when they first thawed him out, then the Crips went to crip walking. It was lightning every goddamn where.
Mm.
I was reporting it in real time while it was happening, and I was telling them and I was showing them. I was like, "Look, the Crips walking, and Tukey waking up out of this motherfucking frozen state. You know, this finna be a problem for this system." Because now they got the third king added to the equation.
Yeah, and I can attest that post 2019, there has been definitely a very pronounced crip resurgence. You know, when we went to Nipsey's homegoing service in LA, we was like, this shit is like a crip cathedral. I ain't never seen so many crips in my life. And in terms of it becoming imprinted on culture, it just pretty much has taken a stronghold. You know, you've seen the Crip resurgence in Brooklyn by way of the Brooklyn Crips and the Woos and the Chews and all of that. So, you know, can you speak to what relationship, whether it's esoteric or whether it's something that connects to you know, the bonds, what relationship do Chicago street organizations have with LA gangs?
Um, it's funny you would say that because we all vice lords, right? That's Big Mama house. Larry and Jeff from Mississippi, and Tookie from Louisiana, I believe, right? And all that is Big Mama's territory. So when Big Mama boys go out, we connected across the land. We don't have to have eyes on each other to know what each other doing. So when I was a little boy, Big Mama told me that when I get big, I I was to leave no stone unturned. I didn't know what it meant as a child, but she was talking about restoring the land and restoring the people and putting the kings back in their positions. I began to learn that over time as the many messages that her and my mama gave me begin to just come together um like transformers in my brain, and it just started clicking, right? And once it started clicking, like I'm having dreams, I'm having visions. I'm like, man, this is like I'm going through it, you know, on a spiritual front. Like it wasn't for the weak. So I see why they told me to do it, because they said wasn't nobody else gonna do it, right? Because the spiritual work is so trained on the psyche that if you're not an old soul, you might not be able to make it, right? So um when the connection come in is that all of them was dispatched. It was more than them, right? Them just the three high chiefs on the land, right? And they came to me in the dream as three sky chiefs, which was three constellations of stars written in three chiefs' head in full feather regalia. Now I got to figure out who they is and where they at, right? And that's where the problem come in at, because I'm seeing a culture that's not our culture. So now I got to read this new culture, because if it was just our culture, I could have found them in 20 minutes. But in this new culture that's overlaying our culture upside down and backwards, now I have to do comparative analysis, cross references, right? I have to extrapolate from a key phrase or certain word that somebody dropped in the 1800s, right? I had to go do all this control remote viewing back in time to see who was doing what. Right now, I got to learn how to do this shit though. I don't just know it. And then I can't tell nobody while I'm learning because they already think I'm crazy because of the shit that I be saying. It's outside of their ability to comprehend and their cognitive dissonance. The only remedy for it is to assume that I'm insane, right? But the psychologists and the psychiatrists, they wanted to know when I was going to open the school so they could get classes,
Right.
you know? So,
Hey,
I
hey, you,
mean,
hey, Rod, you referred to this. I believe I was watching a YouTube video earlier. I think it was the channel was a Galactic Talk or something. You referred to what's going on as uh, galactic chess game
yep.
and on a 5D chessboard. I want you to elaborate on that. I never that kind of caught my that my son got shit on my face, y'all. Yeah, elaborate on that a little bit for me.
So the fifth dimensional chessboard is a conjure weapon. And we was
Explain
challenged
for
to a
those who
fight.
don't know. Explain when you say conjure weapon. I just want the people to know, just in case they don't know what you mean by that.
Conjure weapons are those things used in spiritual warfare while you on the earth.
Mm,
5D galactic chess consists of almost every game you could think of. They all involved at the same time. They playing. You got to play on every board. I'm talking. You playing Scrabble. You playing Yahtzee. You playing kid game tag, stop and go.
mm,
Right. When you put them all together, but you got to only play them from a mental standpoint, which puts you in fourth dimensional matrix, mind matrix, right? So they say it's a game of masterminds,
mm,
and the mastermind is the man who masters his mind. But it's a board game because you got to be bored to play it. That means that the rules come from the board games, right? Then, if you're really good in the galactic chess game, you can put puzzles together in a holographic framework in the mind, and you can put together three-dimensional puzzles. Take them apart. So you learning how to use the mind for higher thought, as it say in the Christian Bible. Let this mind be in you, which was in Christ Jesus, who thought not it a sin to be equal with God.
mm,
Right. In other words, put put your mind in God mind. Put God mind in you.
mm,
Psychoanalyze God, you will be absorbed by your God mind. Right? If you learn forensic profiling, profile on the characters in the Bible, and then you start to see a different story than this narrative you've been given. Right? Because we're looking at a psychopathic, narcissistic, sociopathic, pedophile predator with homosexual tendencies. That's in Lil, right? But then he's going to war with this other one that's this all loving, kind, compassionate, caring God. That's Inky. So now it's a war going on, the 19th song versus the 119th song. When the birds of the feather flock together, Enlil's children go home to him. They look like us, but they ain't us. They come from a different branch of the family tree off of a different galactic order,
mm,
right? So we not looking at all of the different cultures collectively in order to find out what's going on. We only looking at American History 101, algebra, right? Then we get to college where we might do some real stuff like take up some arts and entertainment classes or something, you know, couple business classes, learn how to function real good in the slave system. My mind is saying, how we gonna take this shit over the whole time? I'm gonna play this motherfucking game, but when my brother's gonna wake up so we can take this shit back over, put everything back how it's supposed to be. Raise the matriarchy, put the power where it goes so everything will run the way it's supposed to run. Right? So when we study, listen to music, we always picking the side. Who the best? Biggie or Pac? Pick a side. Who the best? Michael Jackson, the Prince? Pick a side, right? Who better? Jackie Wilson or Sam Cooke? Pick a side. You like rock and roll or rap? Pick a side. Everything that they can do to divide you up into different categories and classifications, they're gonna do it, including label you the colors of crayons. Ain't no black people, ain't no white people, right? The reality of it is those are chess terms. But if you don't know the legalese, you'll never know that because they give it to you in the colloquial language as crayons. And then they tell you that these people is black people and these people is white people. But they don't ever tell you that the black people in law is civilly dead people. And the white people in law are the people who is the ones owning the ones that's civilly dead. That's why they trade like a birth certificate and death certificate on the international stock exchange. Right? So once one of us know, our culture say, don't shut the fuck up till we all of us know sufficiently enough to change the condition. Right? So I ain't shutting up.
Hey, you talked earlier about us being here in America, not coming from slave ships. You know, over the past 5 years, we witnessed, with Donald Trump, especially when he was in office, we witnessed the knocking down of a lot of Confederate statues. Now, I also heard you say the Confederates, that was our shit, that was us right there. So, could you give us some history of the Confederates? I'm sure a lot of us are miseducated on who the Confederates really were
The
and why.
real
And
Confederates is the Confederate, the Iroquois Confederation of Nations. That's the Confederates. And they ruled from the South. They didn't rule from the North, right? And that's why they say the South will rise again. That's why they gave us the northern upward orientation on the map. That's not the right orientation, so you automatically disorient it looking at the map because your perception is upside down already. So the
Can you explain
Confederation
that to them,
was
please?
the, say it again, Peel,
And I said, can you explain that to them? Can you walk them through that
which part?
about the map being upside down?
Yeah, so we was always a southern oriented people. All of our ancient maps, the South is up, right? And um North is down. They gave it to us backwards in order to disorient us. You ever hear people say the sun rise in the west and set in the east?
Mm-hmm.
Because they got us looking at it backwards. Everything is upside down and backwards. That's so that you can never get the proper orientation to gain your
Right.
bearings.
Right. Your bearings and directions, your connection to Polaris. Case in point, we can geographically settle the argument right now. Right. I'm in the South. I'm in Georgia. It's at a 3,500 foot elevation. Rich is in New York, right, which is at sea level. So is he up north or is he down north? Am I up south or am I down south? Just think about it, y'all.
Yeah, you actually up south,
Thank you.
right? So the land they call down under, Australia is really on the top of the world, right? But they want us to think it's Alaska and the North Pole is the top.
Right. It's
Now,
Australia. That's why they want a top down approach. They got the camps there first to trickle it down.
so what do this mean psychologically? You already disoriented. You already looking at stuff upside down. So when they teaching you the map, this information is going in upside down and backwards. Your true self know that it's upside down, but it's trying to figure out how to tell your ego self. But your ego self believe what the world around it tell it to, because your ego is conceived by the world outside you. Your true self is who you was when you was born, without nobody telling you who you are. Right? So different cultures, we have different rituals for naming children. Some children don't even get a name till they 5 years old, because a character hasn't pronounced itself enough in order to identify who and what they are. Right? Some children tell you what their name is at an early age. You gotta keep asking them. Every day you ask them, what's your name? What's your name? And the baby gonna tell you. Sooner or later, the baby gonna tell you what their name is. It normally take around 9 months. And the mother gotta be persistent. Now I don't know if this is the case, but I believe that's why Affinity changed Tupac's name at 9 months. Because I believe he told her who he was. So she gave him his name. Right? So that automatically puts them at odds with the corporation. Any one of us that remember who we are at that early of an age is an automatic problem. We are automatic problem, right? So what do is we start to return back to our cultural ways, right? It's certain stuff that we do and certain stuff that we just don't do, right? We don't cover up bad men to keep the good men from correcting them, right? In this system, they got bad men gonna come in and correct the bad man. Make that shit make sense. The devil gonna correct the devil, but he gonna take all the good men in the process. So he only not really correcting the bad men. He just using them as the hedges to wrap in the good men. Take the chiefs off the land and leave the people in disarray. Where there is no structure, there is no order. And where there is no order, you can send them in no direction. It's just basic human knowledge of the human species. How do we move? We move with nature. There's somebody here not moving with nature, but is moving exactly the opposite of nature. Right? So when we talk about restoring the balance, going back to the matriarchy, restoring might, this is what we're talking about, going back to nature. We can have nature and Silicon Valley. But Silicon Valley got to follow nature rules. Nature don't got to follow Silicon Valley rules. So they came with AI because they thought AI could beat God. And God whooped AI ass with a 19-point convergence to override a 4-point convergence in quantum encryption. Because God got 19 points of quantum convergence, that 4-point quantum convergence that AI do will not keep up. Right? And this is the sacred sealing of the AI in order to keep it from taking over the world. Right? So we have to know our culture, our ways, and how all of these things come together. So when they take the map and turn it upside down, they also turning your psyche upside down. But you don't know it because it happens that you're at such an early age, you never had a chance to orient yourself to the world around you. And they taking the babies earlier and earlier. Daycare at 8 months old, 6 months old, 4 months old. Mama got to go back to work. If that ain't insanity, I don't know what is. You muted.
All right, yes, y'all should hear me now. Yeah, this is some good conversation here, family. I want to thank everybody. We at the hour mark right now. I'm gonna take Q&A soon. I see they've been asking questions the whole show, man. They're excited. So I want to get to them and allow them to ask some questions to the
Yes, sir.
brother. Make sure y'all donate, family. We got about 1,300 people in here. Hit up the Cash App if you are
Um,
benefited from this
Brother
show.
Rod, you want
Yeah.
to share any of the 44 information that you shared with me?
Wait, hold up, Blue. Damn, I had another one more announcement. Damn, you made me forget. Damn. Go ahead, Blue. Go ahead. I forgot what I'll think of it later. I'll think of it later. Damn.
Yeah, hold on. Before we do that, shout out to Chicago Crypto Hustler, a blockchain, Bitcoin bully. You know, I know that y'all did an
Oh, that's what it
amazing
was. Yeah, thank you, Blue.
presentation,
Yeah, that's what it was, Blue. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It was fire. I'm sure that you want to speak on that.
Yeah, I wanted to everybody who's looking for the masterclass, it is now available on the website blackmagicuniversity.com. That magic is spelled with a K, just like my name, blackmagicuniversity.com. You can get the video there. I mean, I put up the testimonial video the other day on the channel. We're getting amazing testimonials. Shout out to everybody who's a part of it and who is currently in the Discord happening right now. Like I said, we at the hour mark. We're gonna get in Q&A, but I know Blue wants to start off with something. Go ahead, Blue.
Yeah, Brother Rod, do you hear me? You want to share with them any of that information?
You muted, bro, brother Rod. All right, you
I
good.
give you Blue. What do you want me to go over?
Now, I said, did you want to share any of the 44 information pertaining to Chicago?
The 44 in Chicago. That's Angel Bay, Red Lodge 44, right? And that's his angelic form, Chief Malik Angel Bay. And 44 is the angel number. So that's what we're talking about on the 44 out of Chicago is Angel Bay.
Right. Anything else? Four corners. You want to touch on any of that?
Well, the four corner hustler, that's the Vice Lord line. And the four corner hustlers ties back to the BDs, and the BDs ties back to the GDs to show us that we all one nation and one family. So the four corner hustlers started on the west side of Chicago. Ironically, that's where my mother was running at on the west side of Chicago as a outlaw vice lord biker.
Hmm.
All right. Let's get to some Q&A. Let's get back to the chat. All right, family, give me some questions for the brother. Rod, did you Blue share your cash app with the family before we get to the Q&A? Blue and Rod.
Go properties to the number 19.
Mm,
And it is the sacred seal to unlock the Islamic religion, for one,
mm,
because the Quran code is predicated up on the sacred seal of the number 19,
mm,
right? And the Hebrew Bible and Torah is also sealed with the number 19. So this is the number 19 code allows you to know in those books what don't belong, and it helps you to put things in a proper order based on the coding of that number.
indeed,
And
indeed.
right, so it's when you see the number 19, it's the sacred seal. It's also 1 and 9 is actually 9 is the last number. It's actually the omega,
Mm,
and 1 is the alpha, and it's the alpha to the alpha meets omega at 19
mm,
because 1 and 9 equals 10, right?
mm,
So now we went from omicron to omega. Omicron is the small o, and omega is the big O in the Greek alphabet. So when you take the 19 and it becomes 10, the omicron is the 9 that becomes the 0 on the place holding in the numbers, right? Because 1 and 9 equals 10, and 1 is alpha, and 0 is omega.
mm,
1 is alpha, and 9 is omicron. So it's a sacred sealing comes with the number when you use it correctly in its context, right?
Let's get to a question. Oh man, Tierra wants to know. Can you ask him about the 144,000 star seeds?
So those are the tribes. This is biblical dogma that this comes from. We have to reenact all of it because it's trapped up in the psyche and the mental matrix. So now we had to reenact that. The 144,000 star seeds, 144,000 indigo children are the ones required um, to make a shifting of consciousness in a cross section of people, right? So now, when we talking about the star seed, we all star seeds because we all made up of stardust, and everybody is a neutron star, and the mitochondria is a step down capacitor in order to allow your DNA helix to read the sequences, right? So the 144,000 is actually a code, right? It's actually not supposed to be that many numbers. It's a homonym. 144 thou seeing, meaning I'm going to send you one angel. This ties back to what he asked Chief Malik Angel Bay, right? This is the red lodge knot off of a biblical flip. Now, they see it as a number, 144,000, as a 6-digit number, right? But I hear it as a homonym. 144 is an angel. One angel thou seeing, meaning being sent by one angel, right? So now we have the angel that's the star seed, because you got to be a star seed to be an angel, but you also have to be realized. That means you can't be 3/5 compromised. Only know your uh, mind and your body and your sex drive. You have to also know your spirit and your soul to be 5/5 realized. So now you see what the Dred Scott case is really about. The 3/5 compromise is those who's classified as imbeciles in law. The 5/5 realize is those who know who they are and stand up for their sovereign position in the community and declare their right to reclaim their community and heal it. Right. So when I see the 144,000 star seed, I do not see the same thing that the average person is looking at. Nor do I
Okay,
see the religious context either.
okay, let's get to the next question. Ashley wants to know, can Rod talk about the government structure we had in place before in the role of John Hansen, if any?
So, John Hanson is one of the Moors that signed the contract in the blood of Crispus Attucks, the first to die in the so-called American Revolution. They had to write the contract in the blood of one of us in order for it to be a standing contract on this land, because the blood of the righteous shall not be shed in vain. So it had to be given a purpose. So they wrote the contract, the original contract. John Hanson was in on it. So when we talking about the Continental Congress, we talking about being infiltrated, because the Continental Congress would have never been overthrown